Welcome back to Simply Sprouts Farm.
Hey guys, it's John with Simply Sprouts, and today we're going to finish up planting our peppers for the season. It's getting February 21st, and in our zone 7A in Virginia, it's about time to finish up. So we're going to show you what we've been doing here and some new things we're trying this year. So stay tuned. Okay, so what I've done here is I've got these red cups. There's no holes in them or anything like that. And I'm using this stuff called saltpeter. Got this from chiliplants.com. It's really, I guess, just potassium nitrate. And it says 1 teaspoon to 1 quart of warm water. Well, these certainly aren't a quart. So I used about an eighth of a teaspoon in each of these cups, because each of the little packets we have, they're all from chiliplants.com. They have about 20 seeds in them, so we really don't need a tremendous amount of soak or a tremendous amount of water for these, but I want to put them in individual cups so I know which is which. So we're going to get some warm water in these and start a soaking. So I'm putting some warm water in here for each one. I'm not filling these up by any stretch of imagination, because there's only, like I said, 10 seeds in each of these. I did find some packets from Sandia Seed that have 30, but as Bradley's showing you right now, they really, you don't need a whole lot of water to soak these. They're not going to absorb that much water. Again, just warm water in these 18-ounce solo cups. If you've got smaller cups, that'll work too. This is not a scientific process by any stretch of the imagination. But we'll let these soak a while, and it says 24 to 48 hours, but we're going to get started a little bit later today on these, so we'll let them soak for a little while. Alright folks, so it's about 8 or 9 hours later, and these guys have been soaking in this water, and I'm going to start doing some planting tonight. The biggest thing or problem I have, or have had, with soaking seeds this small is, how do you get the water out without losing the seeds? And my idea now is to use a little punch here, punch the bottom of the cups. Now I'm going to reuse these cups for planting some tomato plants. Just kind of scratch the name off and reuse them, but punch the bottom a couple times and just start letting the water out, so that way the water can drain out, and then just have the seeds in the bottom and can get the seeds out easier. Punch, maybe a drill with a small bit on it or something, probably do the same thing, but I'm going to give this a try, and I think it's going to work. Alright, well, so first of all, I was thinking that this was going to take a while to cut some, poke some holes in the bottom of the first 3 cups, and set them in the sink. It would take a while. It literally, the water was gone in maybe 5 minutes. So they're just seeds in the bottom now. It's gonna make it a little easier. So you can see over here I've got some peppers that are already growing, but gotta mix up some soil, and I don't want to make this a video about soil. So basically what I'm using is about 1/3 of this potting mix, Harvest Organics, 1/3 of Pro Mix, and 1/3 of this cocoa, these cocoa bricks. The name of the company on this one is Urban Worm Cocoa Core. So it's got some coconut fiber and some worm castings. I don't use any worm castings just out of the bag, but 1/3 of each of those. I'm going to mix it up, and I'm also going to add some of the nutrients that I've added. You can look at some of my other videos to see that, but I'm going to get this going and get this all wet, and so we can plant some peppers. Okay, so I've got all my nutrients on the top here. I don't know how big this thing is. I've used it for years, but it's 16 by 22, and it's about 8.5 inches to this lip right here. So if anybody is smart enough to figure out how much is in here, go ahead and post below. I might try later if I've got some time. And again, I'm just using 2 things I've always used, which is the azomite And the BioLive, which is right here from other. So I'm also using this starter mix as well. I'm using 4 tablespoons of each on the top, and I'll be getting my hands dirty and mixing it up, but I wanted to show it for you right now before I get these dirty again. One thing I want to mention about this growing medium, this isn't the absolutely positively best you could ever get. I mean, a lot of people, they just like to use this this stuff here, this Pro Mix, and Pro Mix. I get it from Greenhouse Megastore, but you know, it's expensive, and in my opinion, you know, you kind of got to use what you've got. And the cocoa is great, it holds water so well, but it's very expensive if you just get it in a loose bag. So then you got to get the bricks. The bricks are hard to break apart, but they're easier to ship, so they're cheaper. So you just kind of got to go with what you want. The thing I don't like about anything with seed starting is when you get so much perlite in here. And the ProMix has some, and I think so does the Harvest Organics. But you get too much of this in, I feel like sometimes the seeds may not be able to get through this. So because they're almost like little rocks in a way. So, but you know, it is soft, and if I was a seed, I'd be pretty happy. And as long as you get them some light and some heat, especially for the peppers, and water them, you know, they're gonna sprout. They may not sprout in a couple of days or 3 days, and some people may say, you know, because I'm going to put these under dark light, under darkness for a few days, where you're going to get mold. Well, I've got a solution to take care of any mold problems. I've been doing it with my microgreens for a while, and it's great. And I'll be doing a video on that pretty soon too. But you know, as long as you've got something in here with some good nutrients, I think you're going to be okay as long as it's soft enough. When I've seen mixes with too much of the earthworm castings, I mean, if you ever go to a cow field, like I did, especially as a kid, growing up on a cattle farm, you know, you go out in a field and some of the hardest stuff out there is cow chips. So if you put too much of that earthworm casting together and put some water on it and let it dry out under heat for a while, it's going to get hard as a brick. So, and certainly the seedlings don't like that. And the seedlings don't really need it. They're not going to need all that nutrition to get rolling. So that's something, if you repotted later, you can put in, or if you put something in a pretty big container to start with. Maybe you put it down a little bit down in a cup or container, just a little layer of it to, once the roots get there, they can go whoa and keep going. So, but that's my little dissertation on the soil here. Again, I didn't want to make this soil video, but I know people sometimes do ask, and I've had some other videos on soil, and I've used some different components, and I just wanted to clarify why. I'm just basically using what I got. And you know, obviously I don't like this little sticks and stuff in here either, but you can get rid of those. But anyway, that's it for my soil dissertation. So for purposes of this little experiment here, I've already planted a flat without soaking. And they're the Ancho Ranchero, the Ace Hybrid, and the Cayenne Long Stem. 2 of each, which is what I'm doing for all of these. But you can see these seeds here, if you can see them. You know, they're definitely puffed up, and I'm doing 2 flats, and I've already put some seeds in. I try to put one in the very middle, and then one just kind of off to the side, so you know, hopefully the very middle one will be the one we use, but it has a backup if it needs it. So let me get these all planted. I'll be back. One thing I found as I'm going along with this, and these are Anna Russian, and these seeds are really small. I got a little bit of dirt in there. They get stuck to the bottom of the cup. So what I've been doing is and there's still some stuck in there, but I got some. It's kind of hard to see because the seeds are almost the same color as the table here, but that'll get me going at least. Alright, there's 2 ways to cover seeds. Well, really 3. You can leave them on the top, which I wouldn't do with peppers. These small seeds are in the front here. They're really hard to see, but you can push them down and cover them up. Or as you see, I've done, I've certainly pushed the dirt down some to leave some indentations. So I'm just going to sprinkle some of the dirt over top, and then I'll water, and we will be good to go. So let me get this done and see the end product. All right, everybody's covered up, and I've got them all nicely labeled here, and labeled my finger as well. But got them all nicely labeled, covered with a little bit of soil, watered them down a little bit more. And one thing I have been doing with the plants this year, the seedlings, is just like I've been doing with my tomato plants. I've been putting them under cover for a couple days, so they don't get any light, but they'll get heat because they'll be under the the lamps. But I just take another tray, and don't mind the label on that one because it's not applicable, and can't do this with one hand very easily, but put that on that one. And then obviously the one I just showed you, that's the control group, I'm also going to be covering up as well. I don't have two hands to do that. I just had it in the light so you guys could see it. But they'll be under darkness for the next 2 days, and then we will pull them out, and it usually really helps with the germination. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, there you go. Now, some may ask, do you have any kind of heat underneath these? And the answer is no. The only seedling heat mat I have is over here on these, and they've just popped, but I certainly don't have enough to keep all of them on, and for this to be a good control, I'm gonna just keep them all off, hopefully under similar lights as well once they get going. And tomorrow I'll come in here and obviously take the cover off and water a little bit just to keep everything nice and moist. But that's where we're going to go. I'll probably do one more tonight, and then the rest will be just sitting in water, and so we can see if there's any progression with the different varieties. So anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in on this. We'll have an update on our peppers and really what has worked best so far this year. As you see, I mentioned earlier, I've got some peppers behind me, and the ones that have done better, we put in the darkness for a few days, and they took off. So I'm going to do that with these as well, and maybe some pre-soaking will help them do even better. So until next time, this is John at Simply Sprouts Farm. Please like our videos and subscribe to our channel. And until next time, take care, God bless, and we'll see you soon.